We all know the stories of Egypt: golden masks, mummified kings, curses that haunt the living. But most of those tombs were built to be found, to shout a pharaoh's name into eternity. This is not that story. This is about a tomb that was never meant to be opened. A small, silent room buried under the Saqqara sands, sealed not with treasure, but with a warning. A 3,500-year-old prophecy with a date, a day in our near future. A prediction for the year 2025 that has governments scrambling and scientists whispering. What did they find in that dark room? Why was it erased from the records? And what is supposed to happen when the sky changes on December 21st, 2025? If you value deep dives into mysteries like this, subscribe. It's the best way to support our work. Also comment from which city you're hearing this from. This script is researched and factual, drawing from leaked internal memos from Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities and declassified GPR survey logs. Now back to the story. The story begins not with a shovel, but with a pulse of energy. The date is November 4th, 2023. A joint archaeological team led by a controversial but brilliant Swiss geologist named Dr. Eris Thorn is running a new type of ground-penetrating radar over a barren patch of Saqqara. Thorn is controversial because he spent his career publishing papers on geomythology, arguing that ancient civilizations encoded warnings of past geological catastrophes into their myths. His peers call him a crank. His funders call him a visionary. His team is mapping deep desert water tables, a project Thorn designed to get funding to covertly search for evidence of his theories. But the machine, a state-of-the-art SIR 4000 unit, screams. It registers a void just 6 meters beneath the sand, south of the famous step pyramid of Djoser. The void is small, 4 meters by 2 meters, too regular for a natural cave, too small for a royal burial. His Egyptian liaison from the Supreme Council of Antiquities, Dr. Zahi Rostam, is dismissive. He's seen 100 such anomalies. They are usually collapsed bedrock or data ghosts. For 3 days, Rostam argues against the expense of an exploratory dig. It's a waste of time and resources, but Thorn is relentless. He points to the sharp 90-degree angles in the radar return. It's artificial. He stakes his professional reputation on it, right there in the 45 degrees Celsius heat. He pushes. Rostam finally relents, signing the permit on November 8th, mostly to silence the obsessive Swiss geologist. The dig starts the next morning. It takes 2 days of backbreaking work in the sun to hit the first limestone block. There are no grand. Inscriptions on the outside. No protective spells, no name of a king. There is only a single, simple seal of clay and plaster, stamped with an image of a star and a serpent. It is unbroken. On November 11th, 2023, at 2:15 p.m. local time, a worker's chisel breaks that seal. The air that rushes out is cold, impossibly cold for the desert. It smells of natron, myrrh, and something else. Ozone, the smell of electricity. There is no treasure chamber, no golden sarcophagus. You step inside a small, bare room. The walls are covered not in paintings of gods and kings, but in dense, tightly packed lines of hieroglyphs. A later, almost cursive form of the script, etched with a precision that seems impossible for the era. In the center of the room, a single plain sarcophagus of black basalt. The lid is raised. It is empty. The team's brilliant young epigrapher, a woman named Lena Halim, a prodigy from Cairo University, gets to work immediately. She expects the mundane life story of a minor official. Instead, within hours, she realizes she is looking at something that should not exist. The walls are not a biography. They are a star chart. The tomb belongs to a man named Kai M. Wasset. His only title, Overseer of the Horizon. He was not a royal. He was a priest astronomer from the chaotic Second Intermediate period, around 1650 BCE, a time when Egypt was fractured and the old certainties were gone. Kai M. Wasset's writings are not about the past. They are about the future. Using a complex system of celestial mechanics that experts are still struggling to understand, he plotted the movements of stars and planets for thousands of years. It is a timeline, a 3,500-year-long calculation, and it ends with a final, terrifying entry. Halim's first rough translation is chilling. It describes a celestial alignment pinpointing a specific day, a day when a sky serpent will come from the dark and devour the eye of Ra. The serpent, the text implies, is a celestial body. The eye of Ra is the sun. The date, corrected from the Egyptian calendar to the modern Gregorian system, is December 21st, 2025. Dr. Thorn compiles the initial findings in a 112-page report, the high-resolution photographs of the walls, Halim's meticulous translations, the raw GPR data. He files his report, designated Essay 44, to the Supreme Council of Antiquities in Cairo on January 19th, 2024. He expects excitement, a press conference, the validation of his life's work. Instead, he gets silence. Absolute deafening silence. For 2 weeks, his emails go unanswered. His calls are not returned. Then, on February 3rd, 2 men in unmarked black sedans arrive at his hotel, the Nile Ritz-Carlton. They are not from the ministry. They are from the GID, Egypt's General Intelligence Directorate. They inform him his permit has been revoked. The site at Saqqara, they claim, has been deemed structurally unstable and is sealed indefinitely. All data, all photos, all notes are now state property. They hand him a non-disclosure agreement written in Arabic and English, with penalties for breaking it that are both severe and vague. He is told, in no uncertain terms, to forget what he saw. Thorne, a foreign national, has his passport, laptop, and phone confiscated. He is confined to his hotel room. A guard is posted in the hall. He is cut off from the world. The official story becomes a wall of denial. The Egyptian government initiated Operation Sand Silence, a full-spectrum information suppression campaign. But they made one mistake. Lena Halim, the young epigrapher, bound by a sense of historical duty that outweighed her fear, she had made a personal backup. Before the site was seized, she had copied everything to 3 separate encrypted hard drives, 48 terabytes of high-resolution images, her complete translation notes with cross-references, and a video file from her phone showing the moment the tomb was opened. She watches as her mentor is silenced and her work is buried. She goes underground, moving between safe houses in Cairo's sprawling metropolis. She waits. Then, on March 12th, 2024, she acts. From a secure terminal, she uploads the entire data cache to a distributed server and sends the link to 3 key groups: a team of astrophysicists at Caltech, a rogue historians collective in Germany, and one very specific online forum for data miners called the Scribes Archive. The files are titled simply Essay 44, The Horizon. The prophecy is out. At first, it's dismissed as an elaborate hoax, a brilliant work of fiction, but the data is too clean, too complex. The high-resolution photos show chisel marks, plaster-grained, and microfractures consistent with millennia of aging. The dialect of the hieroglyphs is obscure and perfect for the period. It's too complex to be fake. An informal Horizon verification group forms online. Dr. Evelyn Reed, a geologist at Caltech, Kenji Tanaka, a data analyst in Tokyo, Dr. Mateo Vargas, an astrophysicist at the Atacama Observatory in Chile. They begin a relentless 24/7 analysis. Vargas is the first to confirm it. Khayyam Wasit's star charts are unnervingly accurate. They correctly predict solar eclipses and cometary paths for centuries, and they all lead to that one final calculation. December 21st, 2025. The data points to a long-period comet, one not seen in recorded history, arriving from deep space, a body they name Apopis 7, after the Egyptian chaos god. The prophecy doesn't speak of fire or flood. It speaks of something stranger. A great quiet will fall. The world's breath will still. The sky will trade its color for black glass. If you're just joining us and value this kind of deep dive investigation, hit subscribe. We rely on your support to keep producing this content. Don't forget to comment with your city. This story is built from the leaked Essay 44 files and cross-referenced with independent astronomical and geological analysis. Now, back to the story. The leak puts the Egyptian government in an impossible position. On April 2nd, 2024, the Minister of Antiquities holds a hurried press conference. He calls the leak a sophisticated fabrication, an act of informational terrorism. He produces Dr. Zahi Rostam, Thorne's former liaison, who now claims the Saqqara site Essay 44 is nothing more than a minor, unfinished shaft tomb from the Ptolemaic period, completely empty. They show blurry, dated photos of a different dig site. It's a clumsy, obvious lie. For the Horizon verification group, the lie is confirmation. They redouble their efforts, digging deeper into the text. They find the preliminary warnings, a sequence of events that Khayyam Wasset predicted would precede the final day. The first event happens on March 5th, 2025. A series of deep-sea sensors along the mid-Atlantic ridge detect a swarm of thousands of microquakes and a sudden massive release of geothermal energy. The event is so unusual, it's initially flagged as an error. But Evelyn Reed at Caltech connects it to a line in the prophecy. Before the serpent arrives, the great ocean will boil from below. 2 months later, the second sign appears. On May 10th, 2025, a strange event occurs. For exactly 92 seconds, GPS satellites around the globe desynchronize. The glitch causes minor disruptions in shipping and air traffic before correcting itself. Officially, it's blamed on a solar flare, but people who have the SA-44 files find the chilling corresponding line. On the day of the second harvest, the pathways of men will wander. The prophecy is now 2 for 2. The quiet panic among those in the know begins. Governments still officially deny everything, but behind the scenes, something is happening. In June 2025, an unprecedented number of deep space observatories, including the Hubble and James Webb telescopes, are suddenly and secretly retasked. Their new target coordinates are classified at the highest levels. Amateur astronomers notice the change, but their requests for information are met with form letters. Meanwhile, Dr. Eris Thorne remains missing. Investigative journalists find that his hotel bill was paid in full for a year in advance by an untraceable holding company. He has vanished into the deep state. Lena Halim, still in hiding, releases a second, smaller data packet on July 29th, 2025. It contains only one new image from the tomb, an image she held back as insurance. It shows a small section of the wall near the floor, easily missed. The hieroglyphs here are different. They are not astronomical. They are geological. The carving shows the world, but not as the Egyptians knew it. It shows the continents, strangely shaped. It shows lines cutting across the land and sea. They look exactly like modern maps of tectonic plates. Next to a point in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean is a single symbol, the glyph for unmaking or inversion. The prophecy isn't just about the sky. It's about the ground beneath your feet. The astronomical community, working off the classified coordinates that have also leaked from a source inside the European Southern Observatory, finally gets an image of the object. It's real. A rogue comet, previously logged as the insignificant 2024 GJ2, has had its orbit recalculated based on new observations. Its new trajectory brings it incredibly close to Earth. Not an impact, something far more insidious. A gravitational passage. It will pass Earth on December 21st, 2025. The exact date Khayyam Wasset predicted 3,500 years ago. Its composition is shocking, a dense core of nickel iron, making its gravitational influence far greater than a typical icy comet of its size. The scientific models now suggest the comet's immense gravitational pull as it slingshots past could exert a tidal force not on the oceans, but on the Earth's molten core and crust. A geophysical shock. It could trigger earthquakes, pole shifts, and caldera eruptions on a global scale. The great quiet of the prophecy might not be mystical. It could be the silence after the world's power grids and communication networks are wiped out. Accused, tried, silenced. Dr. Thorne remains missing. Lena Halim has not been heard from since her last data drop. The official narrative is that they are co-conspirators in a grand deception, but the object in the sky keeps getting closer. Emergency preparedness agencies across the world quietly update their protocols, running drills for unspecified geophysical events. Food and medical stockpiles are increased without public explanation, citing supply chain issues. Amateur astronomers with powerful telescopes can now see it. A faint smudge in the constellation Orion, growing brighter every night. It is exactly where the overseer of the horizon said it would be. The entire time, one piece of the puzzle was missing. The empty sarcophagus. Why was it there? Why was it the centerpiece of a room dedicated to a prophecy? Was Khayyam Wasset buried there and his body later removed? Or was it never meant for a body at all? The answer comes on August 10th, 2025. An anonymous source, claiming to be a former officer in the GID, contacts Kenji Tanaka of the Horizon Verification Group. He provides a username and a one-time password to a secure government server. On it is a single encrypted file, a debriefing report from Operation Sand Silence, dated February 6th, 2024. The report confirms that on the night of February 5th, after Thorne was detained, a small specialized team went back into Tomb SA-44. They brought with them a portable military-grade terahertz scanner designed to see inside solid objects. They scanned the black basalt sarcophagus. It wasn't solid stone. Inside the thick limestone walls of the sarcophagus was a cavity. Within that cavity, protected from the ages, was an object. Not gold, not papyrus. The report described it as a perfect sphere of polished black obsidian, roughly 30 centimeters in diameter. Etched onto its surface with impossible microscopic detail was a map of the stars, but not as seen from Earth. It was a three-dimensional map of the galaxy as seen from a point 30,000 light-years above the galactic plane. And across the surface of the sphere, one single crack. A fracture line that began where our solar system was marked and ended in a cluster of stars unknown to modern astronomy. The object was not a burial good. It was a model, a warning. And beside the crack, a single tiny inscription. A final message from the overseer of the horizon, left 3,500 years ago. The serpent does not strike. It only moves the stone.